Welcome back. School is right around the corner. So joining us live in studio this morning is CEO Katie of Shark Fitness. She's here to talk about packing healthy lunches for your students at school. So Katie, first question for you. Why is what you pack in your child's lunch so important? Could this lead to healthier habits throughout the rest of their life?
Absolutely. What you pack is so important because it really sets them up for success in the classroom, right? And even on the playground. Want to make sure that they're being properly fueled with healthy foods, right? If we're not packing their lunches, they're eating school food, which I don't want to give a bad name, but school food is specifically created to be made in bulk for many children.
Right.
The idea of it being healthy is really not number one.
Right.
So packing their lunches will set them up for success in school and further down the road in life.
That's awesome. And it seems like a great tool and thing to kind of get started right at the beginning of school. So talk to me about the container. We have a packet of tips here and a picture of a container that should be used for packing these lunches. Should it be a certain type?
Yes, I believe that using a three-compartment container is probably the best way to do it. Keeps everything separate, especially if you're packing things like fruit, which can be a little bit wet sometimes. It will prevent your sandwich from becoming soggy, right? And you can even take little containers and put dips or dressings in them and put them in the container as well. So it helps also to portion it out properly.
Oh, that's nice. I feel like it's also kind of fun maybe for a kid too, looking in there, seeing it all divided into one and kind of picking what they want to eat from, and then those healthy choices as well. So you had three things that were bolded in this packet that you gave us. So quantity, quality, and balance. Those three things. Keys to making a healthy lunch. Talk to me about that.
Absolutely. So quantity is important because depending on how active your child is, how old they are, you want to be making sure that you're giving them the proper size of food that they need, right? A 5-year-old is not going to need the same amount of food as a 10-year-old. Right. If they're playing sports after school and things like that, that also factors into how much food you should be packing for them. Quality. Want to make sure that we're giving them whole foods, right? We want to really avoid processed items. Whole foods will help them feel good and perform well. Balance. Balance, we want to make sure that they're getting protein, carbs, and fats. Making sure that they have all three of them will really set them up for success.
That's awesome and great tips for sure. So the last question for you then. We've been talking a lot about food. Obviously, food is so important for us, for our children, getting the day started in the middle of the day. But what about hydration? Is that something that's important in all of this too?
100%, especially down here in Florida. It's hot. We want to make sure that they are drinking water. I think it's especially important to mention that they stay away from sugary processed drinks. Fruit drinks, soda, things like that. They really don't have any place in a kid's nutritional life, right? They're not providing any benefits to them whatsoever. Water is key. Getting them a stainless steel water bottle, letting them pick it out. These things will help encourage your child to drink water and stay hydrated.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us live in studio here. We do have her for our next hour, though, so if you missed this or just want to hear some more, stick around for that. Thank you so much, Katie. We appreciate it. School is right around the corner, fortunately, unfortunately, whoever wants to call it. So we have Katie joining us live in studio this morning. She is the CEO of Shark Fitness. And we're talking about school lunches, packing school lunches. Super important to do, obviously, for your kids, but why? Why is that so important to make sure we're getting these healthy habits started early?
It's so important because the food that's offered at school can be highly processed. You have no control over the quality or quantity of food that they're being provided. So packing it at home ensures that they're getting whole foods in the right quantities, and it really sets them up for success in learning or sports or whatever it is that they're doing during their long day at school.
And those healthy eating habits starting early, continuing, and keeping those can help later in life too. So talk to me about the containers that these lunches are packed in. Certain type that parents should be using or thinking about using?
I would definitely consider using a 3-compartment or a 2-compartment container. Helps to keep the food separate. The idea that, you know, if you're packing fruit or something in there that might be a little bit wet, it prevents the sandwich from getting wet. It also can be fun for kids to have a compartmentalized meal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so quantity, quality, balance. 3 keys to making these lunches great for our kids. But what are some of those items that parents can include with those 3 things in mind?
So think about including things like carrot sticks and ranch dip, right? Kids really have fun having things that they can dip into other things. You also want to get the kids involved in choosing what they're going to have for their lunches. If you involve them in the choices, you can pretty much guarantee that they will eat that food.
That's awesome. And what about those sweet treats? Any healthy options for parents to think about when it comes to that?
Absolutely. Getting your kids involved in choosing some healthier sweet treats like Larabars or even fruit will set them up for healthy habits going forward.
Awesome. So talking about food, obviously super important, but what about hydration? That's obviously important too. How much should our kids be drinking?
It really depends on their age and activity level. When they are younger, they have a tendency to need the same amount of water. So for instance, kids about 4 to 8 years old require about 7 cups of water a day. But as they get older, say around 14 to 18 years, girls will require a little bit less water than boys. However, hydration is important. My suggestion would be to bring them to the store, let them pick out a really cool stainless steel water bottle. It will encourage them to keep up with their drinking water throughout the day.
That's awesome. And I'm sure that also helps too throughout the day, but then also that lunch period that we're talking about too. So we have an event that's actually coming up. So free lunch and learn. Tell me about this event, what people can expect, and when and where.
The great thing about this is it's virtual, so you don't need to come to our gym to join it. You can sign up online. Our event is posted on our Facebook page. It is August 6th at noon with our family nutrition expert, Christy Ripple. She is a mom of 3 wonderful children with very different tastes, and she can help us learn a whole lot about how to pack healthy lunches. We'll be specifically focusing on prepping in advance, right? There's nothing worse than rushing in the morning and trying to pack lunches.
For sure.
So she's got some really easy tips to help make it a little bit easier for you.
That's awesome. Well, Katie, thank you so much for joining us live in studio today. We will have all of that information on our website, when and where you can find that link, and obviously more information as well from Katie. So thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.